Hello everyone. So I'm going to show you a free add-on that I'm going to be releasing, which is a support add-on for random flow, and it will enable you to easily create base meshes using the skin modifier. It's going to be called the Skin Vertex. So basically creates a single vert and with the modifiers mirror, skin modifier, and then subsurf. So when you click this, you will have this menu. You can choose which mirror axis to use. You can shift plus click to add multiple or remove, or just select one. I'm going to use X, and um, subdivision level. This determines the starting subdivision level. This is going to be the level of the subsurf modifier. That's going to be added in the object. Use active origin. I'm going to talk about this later. Clipping, which is for the mirror. If you're going to use the clipping for the mirror, basically will not let you move the element or vertices from the symmetry line, and yeah, you can only just extrude from it, but not move the vertices away from the symmetry line. So smooth shading, this is from the skin modifier setting. Basically, just smooths um, the uses smooth shading for the object. Okay, and when you press OK, you get this, and then you'll also go to edit mode automatically, and then go to edit mode also automatically, and with vertex select on, so you can just extrude. Okay, this is the okay, there we go. So you can just extrude away. So you can view the wireframe. You can view the vertices by going to wireframe. And since we have clipping on in the mirror, we used clipping earlier. You can see that I can't move this away from the symmetry line and go to the X axis unless we go to mirror and disable clipping. So it looks like this. But I want this to actually clip to the center, so the center line is preserved. But if you extrude from this, you can't move the extruded uh, point or vertex from the symmetry line because of the clipping. So you can use control left mouse button click to extrude, and it will extrude on the position of the mouse cursor. So there are two variations of this, but it does the other variation doesn't work with the vertex because it's only a vertex. So control click, you can see that this face follow the oriented itself aligned itself to face the extruded next extrusion point. But so that's control left mouse button, and we have another one. This is control shift left mouse button, but this time the selected face does not will not align itself to the extrusion point. Okay, so that's what we're using here. So, but because we're just dealing with the vertices, we won't use the control shift left mouse button hotkey. So just control click, then you have that. Then you can extrude away. To scale this, use control A. So with curve, you use Alt S, but with the skin modifier, you use control A. I don't know the logic behind that, but it's kind of confusing at first, but once you get used to it, you really can't complain anymore because you're used to it. Okay, control click, and So this, of course, if you have the time to actually edit this more, will look good. Like, um, but I'm just going to demonstrate the random flow connection with just this basic stuff. Okay, so we have this, and I'm going to demonstrate the use clip. What is it? The Skin Vertex, the use active origin. Okay, so if there is an active object, and if you toggle this on, it will use the origin of the active object instead. Um, but without this, the skin vertex object will be created on the position of the 3D cursor, much like any other primitive objects in Blender. So, for example, if I create cube, it will be generated on the 3D cursor, and skin vertex generated on the 3D cursor. But we want the created object to actually use the origin of this active object, so we can mirror it on the x-axis. We're using this origin point. But for placing the initial position of the vertex or the skin vertex, you use the 3D cursor. So in order for the 3D cursor to snap on the surface of the 3D object, we go to press space, shift space, and then select cursor. And then here in tools in the properties editor, you can see you can see the cursor here, and you toggle on surface project. So when you left click on any surface, the 3D cursor will snap on that surface. So this is really good for placing stuff. Okay, let's just go back to back selection. So for example, here and skin vertex, I want this to be mirrored in the x-axis, much like the active object, and then use active origin, boom, and then it's automatically in edit mode with this initial skin vertex selected. Then you can just press E to extrude it as well. So go to wireframe to wireframe view to view the vertices. So if you are wait a minute, scaling using Control A, you can also lock it down in the axis. So Control A and then press the minimize button. You can select and then just manipulate and just rotate the that white line. You can select which axis to lock onto when you're scaling like that. But it's kind of awkward in some places. Sometimes it really aligns and stuff. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, and let's see. Another one here, just to demonstrate the okay, and E, and vary to the skin like that. Control click. But since we're not in the symmetry line, you can just press E. So kind of like that. Okay, so and then when you're finished, so you can use it for sculpting, of course. But of course, I made it for random flow. So when finished, creative flow, apply mesh, and auto mirror. Auto mirror, make sure to select from the active mesh, not this one. It will show you the mirror axis not found. So click on the active mesh, then X. So it works on multiple objects. Okay. And control 1, give it subdivision. Just gonna append a material from another blend. Um, Picture, skin add-on. You can see the file browser because OBS cannot record it. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to put that material to these two objects here. And this is using, these objects are using the subsurf or subdivision modifier. So in order for the randomized meshes to inherit that, I'm going to go to settings and click this, copy all modifiers, not just the mirror modifier. Okay, and um, okay. So for demo purposes, I'm trying to speed up this. But of course, if you have more time, you can edit this. You can edit the body better, not just this basic stuff, but this is how you do it with random loop extrude, with subdivision, and here loop panel size 5%. This is in percent, and walk walk. Let's try square on the last one. Use 2% panel size. And then here, I'm going to use 80% for the ratio, island ratio. And shading. Shading is not going to work because we're using subdivision. This only works without subdivision. Increasing this to get rid of the symmetry line. You can actually preview this. If you have a lower end PC, do not try this. I'm gonna confirm it because when I manipulate the values, it's trying to uh, redo the scene. So it's turning this off and on again. This, of course, has a lot of applications for concept art, and also you can also bake this detail if you have time for topology. Let's use 4%. Have to rework the percentage values. Okay, let's try the wing or the back extension or something. Back tentacles. This is really great for just this. One use of this is also for creating reference. So you create a reference design, then you can just create another one that's basically using this as a reference, or you create uh, when you're into drawing and also in 3D, you can use this as a reference tool. So we can also add, so for this, you can use a random panels to add additional detail. Let's use panel 60%, 60, disable the even offset, increase this to get rid of the symmetry line, play around with the seed value. And just selecting panel, face islands, detail more, or to detail more to add more detail. So press L to select everything that's connected to the element under the 3D cursor. So this is random panels going to increase the go. So this effect is of course multiple objects layered together, but I think you can actually animate this. But like I said, if you had more time to edit the base mesh, this will look much better. Especially the feet. The feet is like you can design the foot like that instead of this basic uh, stuff. And the fingers as well. You can also use the skin vertex to create the fingers. Click here and skin vertex. Use active origin. Okay, and control A scale skin vertex. Okay. Maybe I should affect the scale. I don't think the scaling the skin modifier this way is exposed in the skin in Python, but I'll see if it is. So you can change the value, the starting value of the thickness of the skin modifier once when you add the skin vertex. So this way you can just then you can do some Boolean thing or something. Join them to merge them. You can actually join them together and apply the mesh. Reestablish the mirror modifier and then put a subdivision surface modifier and use random location. Those really fat. Okay. Uh, let's just use the random panels. Assign material. Let's just use the random panels. Random panels and increase the subdivision. There we go. So, like I said, if you had more time to uh, edit the base mesh, this will look much cooler. But for the base mesh, try to keep it simple and let's just look at this. Try to keep it as simple as possible for the because the randomizer is optimized for quads. It doesn't really like complicated topology, so keep it quads and keep the faces evenly spaced, evenly sized, and yeah. So try to achieve a balance between like the designing the contours and the profile of the shape versus the topology. So you can actually create a complicated shape with just really basic topology. So with the base mesh, don't overcomplicate, but find the balance. something that will give you good result with the randomization, but not use a totally mushy base mesh like this one. But even if we did, as you can see, this still looks good. So if we try to render it at a distance, you can see that you can already use it for concept art. You can do cheats like this. If you were doing the mushy stuff like this, you didn't have time for the base mesh. You can, of course, clip the areas that you want the viewer to see like that. So it makes the foot kind of like what I drawn earlier. So uh, it's a cheat, but you know whatever makes the workflow fast workflow faster. Good. Let's try. I'm going to create. Oh, before we end the video, I'm going to create a sort of wire draw faces right here, and then another one. Select this too. They don't have. Actually, they do have mirror. Selecting these faces, and then random cables catenary. Let's get rid of the cables that are on the same face. Limited. And to get the catenary effect. Let's add try not just mirror the cable amount. Increase the where is it? That uh bevel. So I'm already starting the online documentation for all of my add-ons and trying to really make it right this time. But it's gonna take some time. But right now, at the moment, I am doing random flow. This one here and offset. Where is my offset? So the documentation will explain all the properties, all this for each operator, and we'll have a GIF file for each of these properties and what they do. Offset. Okay. So, okay. Now let's get rid of this. This is just proxy to generate the cable, and then so right here you can see Alt S is what controls the thickness. For the skin modifier, it's Control A, and you can apply the mesh and then add the material to it. This one. Okay, I'm going to actually save this and I'm going to try the uh, for front panels. This is 40. Okay. Yes, yes, the um, wire there. I think we can also generate the cloth from this one. Let's try cloth, uniform, and pressure. Pop it out. Okay. Up in materials, I'm going to use the panel cloth or flow cloth and fix the scaling of the bump detail. There's random flow has a lot of tools to generate, help you with your, because this add-on was initially created for um, concept artists. You can remove the faces. Replace this with cloth. It's awesome. Time material or flow cloth. Cool. And yeah, so that's it for the skin vertex. So for the material that I'm using for the robot, um, or for yeah for the main object. So this is our flow panel soft object, which is of course you can get from this operator, but I modified it, and this is the uh, the main color because the random panels and random loop extrude results in objects that have separate panel islands. So you can use the geometry node with the random per island to generate different colors for the different sets of faces inside a mesh. Then connected it to the I connected it to the add math node, connected it to the vector of the white mesh texture. I used color ramp and then used it as the base color. So I used constant interpolation with three colors here. And when I manipulate the value here, it will randomize the color for each sets of faces or face islands based on the color ramp values. Okay, so just like that. And yeah, that's the one of the changes I made, and also this one. So instead of just using the lights object, I connected an ambient occlusion, controlled it with a color ramp, then added it to the lights object group node to serve as the vertex color. Okay, so if you're trying it, just squeeze it so you can view it better. So you can pause the screen and try these changes yourself. Okay, there we go. Also, I turned off the because I use the one with the texture. You might just for this you can just use the Airflow metal because with this one, this is using the textures, but I have because this doesn't use any UVs with the textures on, it's kind of chaotic. So I disabled it by reducing the its effect on the color by setting the multiply to 0 right here, which is from this texture here. And for the bump, I also reduced the strength of the bump to 0. Pick an object and set the 3D cursor there. Skin Vertex, use active origin. Line mesh, re-establish the mirror. Subsurf modifier, then use random loop extrude or random panels. Let's use random panels. I can make this bigger. I think this isn't using the shader. So we're going to reapply it. I'm not sure where, but I'm just going to type it like that. Not bad for a mushy base mesh. I think we did better by like I said, we can do better with if you had more time, we have more time. We edit the base mesh better, so we can get a better result of this one. But as you can see, even with an unedited or really mushy basic base mesh, we still get this really cool result. Okay, so that is it for this video. This is Skin Vertex. I will release this soon along with its online documentation. This is going to be available in my Patreon and only there. Um, yeah, you can only download it from there. So I don't have to create product images. if I were to post it on Blender Market or Gumroad, I'd have to do the whole. I have to create like um, thumbnails and product pages. So I'm just going to avoid all that and use Patreon as the download page. It's going to be a public post, so you don't have to be a subscriber to get it. Okay, yeah. So you can experiment, better experiment with shapes, especially organic shapes, and have fun with random flow if you have it, and also creative flow. Don't forget creative flow. This is really handy too. Okay, yeah. If you have any questions, use the comment section below or the links in the description. And um, thank you for watching and have a nice day.